In the last episode, my brain melted and my motivation evaporated as I realized that I had done some math incorrectly and this machine was broken, so I took a break, and by break, I mean I streamed it live on twitch.tv/Dejojotheawsome, where we mostly finished this machine. Oh yeah, let's go over it. So this barrel was the primary issue in the last episode, where I realized I was splitting things wrong, I wasn't producing enough Aureal Essence, but as you can see, we're definitely doing that now. So how did we fix it? Well, starting with this fella. Sorry, I thought this was broken. I forgot I'd turned this off for this demonstration. Okay, we're good. This guy will get broken by the drill and turn into 50 of the little dust specks. There's 2 in here for some reason. 4 will get split off into this basin here, and then 27 will get split off into this basin here, and 19 will get split off into this vault here. And if that looks pretty similar, it's because I was onto something. The 27 that get split off here are turned into 3 arcane crystal dust that is then split on a myriad of these weighted ejectors to essentially create 2 corrupted pixies and 1 moondebeater dust. This moondebeater dust is then used to create the next arcane crystal obelisk, and the dark pixies are put into the Aureal Essence loop, right? The dark pixies are put inside of a Utrum jar, broken by this drill, washed on the depot, and drained once they're clean into this item drain that then fills the fluid tank with our real essence. And this actually needs to be changed in this episode, but we'll do that, when it's time. The Aureal Essence is then, of course, used for the 19 specs that we have coming out here to turn them into the Arcane Crystal Shards, which it outputs all at once. One of them is taken over here for final processing into a time in a bottle, and the other 18 are pressed into 2 blocks and sent way on over to the Arcane Crystal Obelisk loop. Now that is most of the Crystal Obelisk loop, except for this little guy. See, we don't need to make these Arcane Polished Darkstones every time. In fact, we get 8 of them per 1 Arcane Ingot. So 1 cycle equals 8 cycles. So they build up pretty fast. So this guy ensures that every 3 or 2 cycles, it will create 1 Arcane Crystal Dust that will be teleported through the controllers all the way over here. It will be turned into a Moondebeater Dust. We also have some, oak drawer with soul beads coming in from that controller. And they will be turned into 1 Arcane Crystal, or Arcane Ingot, that we can also pull out from the bottom. There's a lot of redstone. It all works. We have stuff for processing. I'm stuck. The point is, this thing is on an infinitely cycling loop now. There's just a few additions we have to make to actually automate these times in a bottle. Wow, that is a lot of time. And though we're almost done, Magic Chapter 2 has given me a run for my money. And though we only have 1 big hurdle left, there are many things that I would change about this chapter. But I don't have the technical know-how. Thankfully, though, you can with Southern New Hampshire University, the sponsor of this video. SNHU offers a full game design degree. That's right, you can literally go to college for game design. You will learn 3 major programming languages: C++, C#, and Java, which is what the desktop edition of Minecraft is written in. But not only will you learn how to code, you'll learn how to make characters and environments come to life in 2D and 3D, complete with textures, modeling, AI, and physics. Even more than that, they'll teach you how to make incredible user interfaces to tie everything together. So you won't just be learning code or art, you'll be learning how to create your own video games and turn game development into a career. You'll be learning from faculty with real-world experience, so you'll have plenty of networking opportunities, and when you graduate, SNHU will be there to help you along with the job hunt. SNHU is accredited nonprofit and is delightfully affordable. And I can say from personal experience that game development is an extremely fulfilling medium. To take something that lives in your head and turn it into something that you can play with and share with others is a magical experience. So whether you're looking to start your professional life in game development or searching for a way to break out of that current career, check out snhu.edu/djo, linked in the description. Fill out that form, click Get Info, and see if you qualify for SNHU's game development. It also helps support the channel. Thank you so much to Southern New Hampshire University for sponsoring this video. Alrighty, break out your Charlie Day corkboards because it is time to break this machine down and get things moving. Number one, we gotta get the arcane gold ingots turned into arcane gold nuggets, and we gotta get those arcane gold nuggets all the way over here because this is a roundabout where I'm going to be running the processing line because we have our Real Essence bottles will be created here and our arcane crystal shards will be put here. We also need to fix this machine. Right now it's running too fast. This pump would run too fast. Essentially, this pump needs to be full all the time so it has the most amount of Real Essence to create the crystals. So I have this threshold switch, which is going to try to keep it at 100% fill all the time. The second it hits 100% fill, it will open up this fluid valve to allow for Real Essence to enter into this spout. But this pump can't be moving as fast as this pump, or it takes massive priority, so we need a rotation speed controller to slow it right down. And the big hurdle are the source crystals. If you know, you know. If not, stick around because we're going to have to use trains. Now, I only have a controller extension, which is not actually going to help us too much with the arcane gold ingots, but luckily, I can do a little bit of stealing from a previous design of mine. Also, did I mention that we're on the newest update of Create Arcane Engineering and that it did update on CurseForge and all that other stuff properly, and a lot of bugs have been fixed? Pretty cool, right? But anyways, time to yoink, time to steal. We need this source controller. Storage controller for source gem. Give it to me. Give it to me. Oh, it doesn't work. Give it to me. Thank you. While I'm here, I will be a good Dejojo and grab a rotation speed controller if we don't already have one. Nope, we don't already have one. Alrighty, let's start with this since it's kind of the easiest thing to do. We all know how these guys work, and we need this thing running really slow. I tested it in creative, and about 4 RPM is what we want out of this guy, so... You know, you don't ever really see yourself using 4 RPM that often in this game, but here we are, innovating. Boom. Look at that. Look at how slow that is. That's so nice. And that should just keep this thing moving fast enough that it'll actually create our Real Essence bottles, but slow enough that this thing will always take priority. Alright, now, the corkboard's getting kind of crazy because before we can use these controllers and controller extensions to get the gold over here, we actually need something to put it inside of. And, if you don't know, time in a bottle can be created in 2 different ways. We can do this recipe sequence, which requires us to have CubeJS source, and I don't know about you guys, but I kind of don't want to have to rebuild Magic Chapter 2 all the way over here, or use a train to get the very limited amount of source over here. So, we're going to be using the other method. As you can see, we can actually use Ars Nouveau's enchanting apparatus, but we need Ars Nouveau's source. And some of the best source in the world is a volcanic source link, but there is another source link that I kind of want to use. And I haven't really tested this. This is kind of a last-minute source link. Where is it? Where is it? Here we go. Mycelial source links. They eat food, and they generate more from more nourishing food, as well as source berry food. Now, I believe that means they'll generate 4 source berries, but we should probably test that out. But let's get crazy. Let's get magical, okay? We're gonna be wizards. And luckily, they're actually really cheap to craft. They're pretty nice. I like these a lot. So, source berries, do you work in a mycelial generator? Yes, they do. Did that add 30%? No. Did that add 30%, or was that already kind of full? So it's 31 now. What does 1 give us? 1%. Not terrible. Now, the next question. Oh, I thought maybe we could grow them in a phytogenic insulator. Aw, shoot, really? Oh, I had all these plans of putting them in a phytogenic insulator, and it would have been so cool. Dang it. Fear not, gentle viewer, because there is a way we could use the phytogenic insulator to automate source. I didn't know that stripped logs wouldn't turn into charcoal. Well, okay, it's charcoal. We're using charcoal because we can grow trees in the phytogenic insulator, and a volcanic source link will turn charcoal into source. It's pretty great. But now I hear you saying, Dejojo, how are you going to power a phytogenic insulator? Oh, well, with crafts and additions, of course. You see, an alternator is extremely cheap, and at 256 RPM, it will power a phytogenic insulator with pretty much every upgrade inside of it. The upgrades we're going to need are a cyclical processing unit. That one's expensive. We're probably also going to want a flux linkage capacitor, amplifier, 2 of these. That's also, you know, a little expensive. And we're going to want the resonant integral components, which is also a little expensive. Oh yeah, and the phytogenic insulator, also expensive. But we have some nice machine frames, so it actually won't be too bad. Now do stick with me because we are going to be absolutely speeding through these. First of all, we're going to of course be getting our resonant integral components, and now let's start with the cyclical processing unit. We need silver, which we can have, but Constantin, that is a bit of a different story. Constantin is created by taking copper dust and nickel dust and putting it into an induction smelter. You can also do Constantin blend, of course, and you can do a Constantin plate, but we're going to be using the dust since we don't have Constantin. An induction smelter is a radiant machine and a blast furnace. There are other earlier game methods of doing this, but right now this is what we want to do, and I get to show off how this cool alternator works. Just hook it up to a rotational force, and you can see this stuff produces a ton of FE per tick, or RF per tick, or whatever you want to call it. Now, I kind of blew all of our nickel away in the live stream to get some Invar, so I do have to go mining. Sure, I'm doing a lot of mining for someone who's trying to avoid having to do mining. May as well grab the silver while we're here too. While I'm down here, I am gonna grab the arcane deep slate crystal ore stuff, because it kind of turns out that you don't actually get any excess crystals from chapter 3, so I need to mine for them to get the best armor set in the entire game. Alrighty, we have a small bounty of nickel, which is not bad, and the reason I still touched it, and I don't know why I just placed it back down, is because we can put these into a mechanical squeezer, that thing right over there, which I used on stream, and I guess we could actually power it now with the alternator instead of with this stinky little dynamo. And you can see it produces a ton of nickel. At least 5, but there we go. That was like 7, and that was 7 again. So yeah, this is very lucrative. I think even more will come out of the deep slate version. I have no idea, though. Nope, same amount. Since we only need 2 Constantin plates, we only need to dustify 2 nickel ingots and 2 copper ingots, and that goes pretty fast. And now we slap them right on in the induction smelter. Hooray, Constantin! And I forgot it makes 2 at a time, so we have extras. Oh yeah. Alrighty, now for the signalium, which we need a significantly more amount of. We're going to need redstone, copper, and silver. And good thing we just mined up a bunch of silver, and we also have a ton of silver. So, not too bad at all. And don't worry, I also picked up a little bit of copper too, since we're always low on this stuff. Oh, fun fact as well, I think I can use a time in a bottle. Yeah, look at that, to speed it up. Oh, isn't that cool? And it sucks time out of the bottle. Does it suck time out of the bottle? Does it actually? I'm still gaining time. Maybe slower? I have no idea. That's a lot of copper. This redstone servo, by the way, is super cheap to make, so I'm gonna get that out of the way. And as promised, with our copper, redstone, and silver in hand, the induction smelter should smelt them all together. What we could do is actually put this resonant integral components in there to get this guy moving a little bit faster. Thank you. Boom. Signalum. Now make ourselves some signalum gears, and I believe that is the cyclical processing unit. Now let's move on to the flux linkage amplifier. We need a redstone flux coil. That's very easy to make. We also need some electrum. How do we make electrum? Well, of course, we're going to make that in an induction smelter that is gold and silver. Easy peasy. Just as well, we need lead, and I believe we have lead sitting around in the system. Beautiful. Alrighty, let's get these guys starting to cook up together to create electrum, and I believe the rest of our lead has finished cooking, because we need to remember we need 2 of these flux linkage amplifiers, alright? So we need 2 lead gears. Or 4, sorry, 4 lead gears, 2 sets of lead gears. That also means we need another redstone flux coil. And now that we have the electrum sheets, it is easy and it is peasy to create 2 of these, and there we go. All 4 upgrades for a phytogenic insulator. The last thing to do is actually to make the phytogenic insulator with our, what's it called, machine frame, and boom, boom. All we need is a bit of dirt. Boom. However, there is a piece de resistance of a phytogenic insulator, and it requires skystone dust. We also need a little bit of flower power. I guess actually a pretty significant amount of flower power. And a nice big hunk of sand, which we can steal from the crushing wheels. Please give me sand. There we go. That's not, hey, sand. Stack. Thank you. That's also not a stack. I think we figured it out. And what is this mystical and magical substance we're making? Well, it is none other than Phytogrow, an amazing fertilizer for use inside of your phytogenic insulators. They will basically boost things like 8 times the amount you would normally get from them. It's pretty incredible. That's a lot of copper I had on me without realizing it. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. All right, so that's actually a pretty big deal finished. Now, the last thing we need to do is actually prepare for the magical bit. So we need some pedestals and an enchanting apparatus. And 4 arcane pedestals. Luckily, we already have ourselves a volcanic source link as well as a source jar. And you know what? To really complete this wonderful little thing we've got going on, why don't we make a redstone furnace, which is a furnace that doesn't run off of fuel. Ignore that I'm on fire, but boom, redstone furnace. And to go with it, how do I move power? Integrated dynamics? Still, sure, let's try it. I believe they do have an energy interface. Yeah. Okay, that's actually a little more complicated. I'm just going to make another alternator. All right, it is now time to move. It is now time to groove. It is around this area that we are going to be setting down our magical, mystical zone of movement. And I think just to give us a little bit of space, I'm going to knock out these pumpkins and all this stuff that's blocking us. And I'm thinking we should put all of our enchanting apparatus stuff way out over here. We could always use mechanical arms and other belts and other things to just move stuff around. So I'm thinking, just to get something down, you know, no analysis paralysis, get our arcane core there, our enchanting apparatus, of course, here, and then, that's not correct, and then our arcane pedestals right there. Now, we can hopper items into this, but belts and funnels don't work. And we could also put our source jar over here, so it's around this area that we're going to want to spit out the charcoal. And we're also going to want to spit out the charcoal one at a time, so the best way that I can think to do that is to have our redstone furnace up top like this, with an andesite funnel on the bottom, because it will only output items, of course, if there is room, and it will only output items one at a time. Fairly easily, we could have the phytogenic insulator output right to the redstone furnace. So both of these should be nice and easy to deal with. We're going to want to put alternators on the back of them, which is going to require us to bring out some ugly-looking power, but I don't care. Oh, yeah, and we should get the phytogenic insulator nice and upgraded. The likelihood is we're probably going to have to do some of this stuff for the redstone furnace as well, but that's no problem. No way! We just overstressed a steam engine. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's not good. How bad are we talking? Ooh, alternators take a lot of stress, don't they? Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Dang, that's going to be more than just a few windmills and Starbuncle wheels. That's like an entire steam engine. Oh, there we go. And then grab it. Yes! Yes! Now that's back up to working order. Whoa! Okay, cool. That took a little bit to get that steam engine up and running, but it's nice and ugly. This one's been reduced to level 3, apparently. Sorry. Oh, one thing that I could do to help is probably get this pump spinning a little bit faster. I think the water's not moving fast enough. Like that. There's my level 4. Beautiful. Now, I don't necessarily know if these are enough cauldrons to support 8. Oh, no, that's enough. That's more than enough, even. Okay, cool. Cool. And now these guys are plenty powered. And now the last thing that we need to do is, first of all, set up inputs and stuff. Oh, I forget this thing has I/O. So we could have the redstone furnace without a hopper. That's actually much better. There we go. Okay. So we can have this thing automatically output on the bottom. We're going to want an input on the side for phyto. We'll also do an input on the top for water, and we'll be able to output on this side so we could spit out the excess materials. And by the way, this is the phyto grow hopper. Goes right into it. Pretty nice. And with this water, oh yeah. Is it pretty? No. Does it work? Absolutely it does. And that's all that matters. Also got the IO set up for the redstone furnace, and so theoretically speaking, if I were to put a sapling in here, it should just work. Now, pretty much all trees produce the same amount. I think even if I were to put like jungle logs, we'd still only get 6. We want to look for something that's only going to produce the log and the sapling, which actually it seems like most trees will do, so except for oak saplings, which will produce apples. We don't want any apples because we could actually save ourselves a little bit of logistics. Yeah, it looks like we could actually save ourselves some logistics with just like spruce saplings. Okay, so spruce sapling goes in. You'll see it works pretty fast. I mean, we've got this thing upgraded with the resonant, that makes it go faster, and the 2 flex linkage, that makes it go faster. The cyclical is actually going to allow it to automatically cycle. Immediately, the logs go right into the redstone furnace, or turned into charcoal, dropped on the ground, turned into source. Beautiful. And as long as there's a charcoal on the ground beneath it, it won't be able to drop another one, so this is self-throttling. And you can see this actually produces quite a bit. Now, it does look like... Excuse me? Oh. Let's turn you around. There we go. I was going to say, this thing should not be consuming more than that. Perfect. Now we can upgrade this as well with some flex linkage amplifiers, but I will do that off camera since we kind of know what happened. Now that we have source automated, we can get to this guy's automation, which is actually pretty easy. It's just hoppers. This we're going to be using for our source crystal shards, so we're going to leave that open for now. It will need a hopper, so I'll put one there. And then we'll say this fella will be where our Ariel... No, sorry, the Ariel is going into this fella, and then the crystals are going into this fella, and then these two will be the arcane gold nuggets. The trick, of course, is going to be getting a mechanical hand to pull the crystals and the Ariel bottles off of these real easy like so. Let's see what we can do. I think I have some crystals laying around that I could use to filter with, which is good at least. So they're going to go here, and it's not at all hard to take one of these empty vials and turn it into an Ariel bottle, since we have so much of the good stuff. Thank you. Whoop! That completed the chapter. Oh, that's loud. Okay. Well, they're going to go in there in any case. Thanks for the chapter completion. What do I get for that? Why wouldn't you give me times in a bottle? I guess you get legendary bags. Okay. In any case, a sweet spot needs to be achieved. Okay. So you need to be take, give, and give. Actually, never mind. No sweet spot needed. That's actually pretty easy. Of course, the reason we're using hoppers is because you can't funnel into these things, but you can hopper into them, so it works. And remember, kids, it does not need to be pretty if it works. And trust me, this works. Nope, it doesn't. This works. Ta-da! Now, eventually for Magic Chapter 4, we'll have to have another place for the Ariel bottles to go, so this guy will be able to, split them off. But for now, we can send all the Ariel bottles into the enchanting apparatus. Now, for the arcane gold ingots, it's super, and may I say, even duper easy to deal with this. Stop. You're bothering me. Stop dropping stuff on my head. Thank you. We're just going to put this in a single crafter that is going to go into this controller extension. Let's make sure to power the crafter. Also, once again, very easy. Are we in range of anything? Nope. Alrighty, there we go. Perfect. And with the controller extension, once again, extremely easy. At some point, we need to actually add the drawer controller, which I think we can just slap next to this one to make it additionally confusing. Let's make sure this works. Yep. Then we can grab our storage drawer, link it together. Beautiful. Awesome. And then I have these two pusher upgrades.
Sorry.
Audrey jump scare. Well, anyways. Okay, so one of these is going to push south. One of these is going to push east. And, of course, the advent is that these guys can only hold one item at a time. So self-auto filtering. In fact, we can even show it happening. All I have to do is put these arcane gold ingots back in because we have some stuff laying around. Boop, that's all going to go through. It's going to get automatically crafted. And like I said, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful. Same thing here, obviously. If I were to put the crystal down, it gets picked up, put right into the machine. Amazing. Now, the actual Ariel bottle won't go in until it has a valid recipe and enough source. So that's kind of a weird thing it does, but it does work. It does work. Now, the hard part, of course, is going to be getting the last piece of this puzzle, these source crystal fragments, because those come from the source gems. That's interesting. That's an interesting thing. I didn't know that was a recipe. Anyways, the source gems, of course, come from Magic Chapter 2, but we don't want to redo Magic Chapter 2, so we got to do some train stuff. We got to do some train stuff. Luckily, we actually have two sturdy machines, which makes things real easy. So what do I need for a train station? How do I turn you into a train station? How do? Wait, I get 1 for a compass. Nice. Even better. Even better. We do only need 2 train stations, but we're going to need a little bit more stuff. I'm going to go prepare all that stuff off camera so you don't have to watch me fumble about. Alrighty, I've got most of the required materials, so we're going to grab this drawer and bring it on over here so that all the little hoppers of gems can funnel on into it. I'm also going to take out these edges because they're just kind of always empty and it bothers me. We could always add them in, but I don't think we need them right now because, I mean, we have so many source gems. I now need to dig out an area that is big enough for a train. Also, is this totally empty? Wow. Alright, we're going to try to keep things simple here. I've dug out a nice big area, but we're not going to use most of it, okay? I just want to get, train tracks in here. I want to get train tracks out of here, So, of course, we need ourselves portable storage interfaces, as is the magical piece of any of these sorts of things. We can use ourselves a smart chute, like so, to get as much stuff going on inside of there as possible. Now, these guys get to move their gems. Awesome. This, of course, is going to be a nice part of the train. In fact, we could probably even just have the train built up right next to it. Maybe we only need like 3 pieces of track to do this. Let's see. Train approaches from there. Station is there. Beautiful. We're going to call this Source Gem Pickup. Good. Create a train. Beautiful. Train alert. Good. We'll just make it out of the blocks we have on hand. It's a little scuffed, but it'll do. Ooh, it also needs storage, which I don't have any of. Alright, this guy really only needs 1 little chest. Doesn't have to be nothing fancy. Oop, there we go. Beautiful little train. Functional little train, even. Sick. And there we go. Love it, love it, love it. Oh, your money back. Now, of course, it becomes time to actually do the nether-facing part of this, and this is where this is going to get a little bit annoying, because we're going to have to do some pretty serious portal linking, considering how close in proximity this is going to be to my regular nether portal. So, I mean, you guys know portal linking. We're just going to leave that there. That's a permanent feature of the factory now. This is not going to be fun. Theoretically, this is the right portal. Just going to clear some blocks in front of it, because it actually doesn't matter if I go through this portal, so as long as the train goes through this portal, because sometimes trains will look for portals a little bit differently than the player will. See, because that didn't work, right? That did not work for me, but it might work for the train. And jolly good, it do work for the train. Awesome. I'm going to move our portal over. Hopefully moving it over works instead of breaking everything all over again, but I'd like this to be a little bit more to the right. Good lord, this is going to take a while to break. I mean, this thing has efficiency on it. That's better. Alright, the portal linking is just about good. It's a little finicky, but it's fine. But now we're going to head over to the factory, which luckily, I believe, is in this direction. Hello, guest, from us. So, cross our fingers that we can get an easy portal link. So, for an absolutely best case scenario, we're going to have the train come out aligned with this right into a belt line that has crushing wheels attached to it, so we'll have to make those. Give me that dirt block back, and that should be dandy. It shouldn't be too hard. I think it's going to be more about finagling the nether side than anything. I don't think I have any extra crushing wheels on me, so I'll kind of have to set things up as though I had them, but we may do before. And the question also is whether the train will fit into this little footprint we've given it. I believe it's one off to the left, but we'll kinda have to see. So, if I'm not mistaken, this platform will have to be this big with the tracks coming up this way. This should work. Alright, where does this spit me out on? Cross your fingers, it's kinda nice. Not bad. I could probably line that up. Totally. Okay, keep those fingers crossed. Oop, that picked up a portal. That is a very good sign. Please come out the right side of the portal. Evil Dejojo gets it right. Now, of course, the big question, does Evil Dejojo get the storage part right? That's the big deal. Okay, I'm just going to move this manually at first. And I'll only give it a schedule once I'm confident that it will work. And I'm not so confident it'll work, unfortunately, but, you know, it's kind of fun that you can control a train without being on it, but you have to, like, re-control it every once in a while, so just kind of send it flying, and then you go chase after it. Yeah. Alright. We do need one more. Okay, that's fine. While we're here, I'm actually going to make this thing called a vacuumulator, because that is what we are going to be using to be picking up the times in a bottle. Because here we're classy, and we throw our important things right onto the floor. Okay, so here is the final storage interface, nice and crafted up. Excite. Okay, beautiful. So now when I rebuild this train, those guys will kiss. There should now be source gems. Perfect. Perfect. I have ourselves crushing wheels, like so. And then, of course, the last bit is to power it, which we're a little ways away from power. Okay, it looks like I can get power running through there. Okay, this should actually get everything working in the right direction. Oh! 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 And it's doing it! It's doing the thing! The thing is being done! Da, 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 da. It takes a little bit to do it, but it's doing the thing! Come on! Boom! That is an automated time in a bottle. That is incredible. Whoa. How much did that take? Oof. That took a lot. I shouldn't have articulated oof like that. That's a little embarrassing, but ugh, that's bad. Anyways, we're going to take down our vacuumulator, and we're going to place this on the floor, because that's where they go. It doesn't really matter where we put it just yet, so I'll just throw it down here. And this filter is going to be very important, so we could tell it to only pick up times in a bottle, ignoring NBT, because these guys have NBT data in them, of course. Now, why? Because how are we going to get this out of here? With a deployer. We're going to have a deployer constantly attempting to deploy on top of it, and when there is actually something inside of it to deploy onto, it gets a successful deploy, and it will just pop it right out. Now, forgive me for what I'm about to do to power this deployer. If you have small children, it's recommended to avert their eyes. Oh, forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. But the deployer is deploying. You saw it pop out right there, and da 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 da. That's it. Automatic time in a bottle. Finishing touches are, of course, a train schedule, so we're going to have a travel to station to, this needs to travel to source gem. Oh, it's not loaded. Gotta load that. What we can do is we can have this thing travel to the source gem, drop off. We're going to have it wait not for a scheduled delay, but for an item cargo until it has exactly 0 items. I want this thing to wait until it is empty. And then we need to add a condition while we're loading the other station, and we will do some chunk loading in just a second. But we do need to add another condition while it's at this station. And so now we can say it will go to the source gem. Hey, buddy. Huh? Okay, I can get into it now. Source gem drop off is going to go to source gem pickup. And then I guess wait until it has more than 200 items. Sure. And then infinite loop. Perfect. Okay, so I can give this guy his schedule now, and he's just actually going to sit here for a while. And there we have it. All that's left to do is turn the machine back on by doing this. And that's it. That should be the fully functioning device. There should be no more problems. Yeah, look at that. This guy is remaining full. The second it drops off, you'll see this thing will start flicking back and forth. There we go. Perfect. Regulating the flow. Amazing. This guy is now filtering through all of the arcane crystal dust specs. You can see we're holding excess in here. On the next cycle, we'll get another arcane gold ingot to what looks like probably be turned into the nuggets. And the pixies are done. The Ariel is done. I mean, it's working. It's all working. This thing is, of course, being moved back and forth. Oh, wait a minute. I have forgotten one critical thing, and that's actually moving the bottles over here, haven't I? I have. I've forgotten to move the bottles over here. Okay. I'll dump a stack of them on this for now. Also, look how tight we are on stress, by the way. Kind of funny. But hold on. I'll put a stack over here for now. But just off camera, I will fix. Say, we're good now. And then this is going to very, very, very slowly fill up, as you can see. But as long as this guy is completely full, and it's always going to take precedence, you'll see we are creating blocks that's going to reloop. I mean, beautiful. Boom. We just got more arcane gold nuggets, I bet. I think. And you can see it is automatically producing these now. That is incredible. All it's waiting on is another crystal, and the loop will start again. And as you can see, this just locked totally because this is dropped below, right? We ran out of excess, but we have more than enough. I think. We should have more than enough. Just gonna watch this. Gonna keep one more eye on this thing just to make sure we make it all the way through, but I think we're okay. And yeah, what could a boy ask for more than this? A functioning machine, magically processing times in a bottle. They'll all get stored in here. Ah, makes you feel smart. Did that? Sheep. You're ruining a lot right now, buddy.